We continue from the previous episode. Jalawa steps forward before the crowd and announces, "I am Jalawa of the Jian Imperial Court. Greetings to all the geniuses." Someone in the audience sneers. Is that a polite attitude? Boldly pointing at him, he goes on, "Are the Jian Imperial family so great? With so many geniuses gathered here, how can we be suppressed by you?" A woman nearby chuckles. As expected of the heavenly dagger master, he bows to no one. In an instant, one of Jalawa's subordinates appears and snarls, "Do you have the right to speak to Prince Jalawa?" Before the black-haired youth can react, he's slammed to the ground by overwhelming force. The speed of it leaves the crowd gasping. Jalawa and his retinue land, and his subordinate clears a path as Jalawa surveys the crowd. His courage is commendable, Jalawa says, but his strength is a little lacking. Toba Xiao Yao frowns, thinking, it's him. That hasn't changed next. Euphia steps forward with calm dignity. "The great Yu and the Jian Imperial Court have no feud," she says. "May I ask why you have come here?" Jalawa inclines his head and smirks. "So you're Princess Fia of the Great Yu dynasty." He leers. "You have a beautiful figure, truly of first-rate beauty." The second prince, Yulai, bristles. "Show some respect," he snaps. Xiao Yao steps forward, expression darkening, and thinks through clenched teeth, "Sooner or later, I will kill you with one sword, lackeys." Jalawa smiled faintly before saying, "Princess Fei hasn't even spoken yet, and the three little dogs behind her are already barking." He then opened his dark red eyes wide and declared, "Respect must be earned through strength." Xiao Yao, Yu Ming, and Yu Lai were suddenly caught in an illusion. Blood-red eyes stared back at them as their minds grew restless. A dark aura seeped into their eyes, making them grit their teeth in pain. Euphia stepped forward sharply, saying, "Enough." Then, more calmly, she added, "I don't think Prince Jalawa came here today to pick a fight, right?" Jalawa smirked, releasing his aura and ending the illusion. All right. For your sake, I won't teach them a lesson." The three finally broke free, staggering as if they'd just escaped a nightmare. Yulai clenched his fists and shouted, "Bastard Isle." Euphia quickly stepped in front of him. "Yulai, don't be impulsive." Jalawa then walked closer to her, his voice calm but firm. "I am the third prince of the Jian Imperial Court." He paused, then added with a faint smile, "This time, we came to the great Yu Immortal Dynasty for one reason." "Princess Fia." Euphia blinked in surprise. "For me? What do you mean?" From the back, Yu Ming spoke up. "Are you here to ask for marriage?" Jalawa snapped his fingers. "Correct answer." The entire crowd gasped. A woman whispered, "A prince from the Jian Imperial Court came all this way through the Jian heaven, just to propose to Princess Fia?" Someone else muttered, "Unbelievable. I thought they were here to fight us." Xiao Yao clenched his jaw, furious. He thought to himself, it's because of Fia's physique. These bastards. Yu Ming raised his voice from the back. "You want to marry my sister?" "Why?" Jalawa smiled faintly. "Why?" He spread his hands and said, "The Jian heaven, which will one day sweep across the entire upper realm, will not touch the territory of the great Yu Immortal Dynasty." He chuckled lightly and added, "How about that condition?" The crowd erupted in murmurs. Someone whispered, "It's said that only forces with immortal realm power can survive the disaster of the absolute gloom." Another added quietly, "That condition is too tempting." Xiao Yao frowned deeply. "This is a threat." Yulai's face twisted in anger, sweat dripping down his brow. "How could the princess of our great Yu dynasty?" Before he could finish, Emperor Yu Tianhe descended from above with Gu Changge at his side. He spoke coldly. "Third prince, you speak far too boldly." The crowd gasped. "It's His Majesty, Emperor Yu." Jalawa smiled faintly and produced a letter. "This was written by my father himself. It details the conditions our Jian Imperial Court is willing to offer. Your Majesty may read it for yourself." Yu Tianhe looked surprised, then amused, as he read the letter. He thought for a moment before saying, "Fia can gain much from these terms, but..." He gestured to the side calmly. "This matter is of great importance. How about you return to the imperial capital with me, third prince? We shall discuss it in detail there." Jalawa clapped his hands lightly and bowed. "Of course. It would be an honor to witness the majestic grandeur of the Dayu imperial capital. Yu Ming turned to his sister, voice trembling. Sister, I don't want you to marry him. Yufia looked ahead quietly and said, This is not for us to decide. Xiao Yao clenched his fist at his side, forcing himself to think. Calm down. Now is not the time to be impulsive. Jalawa walked forward, curiosity in his voice. Yu Tianhe laughed lightly and said, This is my guest, young Master Chang of the Jiu family. He glanced between them, serious now. Neither side is to be trifled with. If a fight breaks out, then my Fia might end up as a bargain prize. The crowd murmured, tense with expectation. Someone muttered, Is this arrogant Prince Jian trying to provoke young Master Chang? Another whispered, Look how he looked down on everyone. It's worrisome. To everyone's surprise, Jalawa clapped his hands together and bowed. So you are the legendary young Master Chang. My name is Jalawa. Nice to meet you, young Master Changge. The crowd breathed in awe. Gu Changge smiled faintly. No need to be polite. Yu Ming pointed, anxious. Imperial sister, even that man shows respect to young Master Changge. Did I pick the right person? Hurry up and find a way to take him down. Yufia snapped, Stop talking nonsense. Gu Changge leaned in and asked, Jalawa, is she your? Jalawa rushed to answer, eager. She's my sister. If she knew you still remembered her name, she'd be overjoyed. Yu Tianhe moved to intervene, but Jalawa kept talking, insistent. If there's a chance, young Master Chang must visit our Jian imperial court. I'm sure my father and sister would love to meet you. Gu Changge smiled faintly, his tone calm, but sharp as he thought. Are you hinting that the deal for casting the reincarnation platform still stands? Then he said aloud, I will. Yu Tianhe sighed softly, a knowing smile on his face. So, young Master Changge has had dealings with the Jian imperial court before. Jalawa nodded slightly and added, It was also by chance that I met Princess Jialan before. From behind, Xiao Yao watched them, thoughts churning. In his past life, Jalawa became Gu Changge's subordinate only after being beaten into submission. Now it seems he's gained a better deal. Scene shifts to the Great Yu Immortal Dynasty guest hall. Inside, Emperor Yu Tianhe laughed heartily. Prince Jalawa is truly handsome and gifted, extraordinary in every way. He turned to his daughter. Fia, why don't you toast Prince Jalawa? Yufia stood up gracefully. Yes, father. One courtier smiled and said, In my opinion, Princess Fia and Prince Jalawa are a perfect match. Their union would be a blessing to both dynasties. Laughter and agreement followed around the hall. Then, an elderly official stepped forward. This old minister also brings good news to congratulate your majesty. Yu Tianhe raised an eyebrow. Oh, what good news? The official bowed deeply. The third son of General Toba's family has risen like a dragon from the sea. Your majesty has gained yet another young talent. Our great Yu is destined to prosper. Toba Qingyu and Toba Lingqiong exchanged quiet glances toward Xiao Yao. Emperor Yu Tianhe laughed proudly. Not bad. That Toba boy is outstanding. He deserves a reward. Gu Changge raised his wine cup, smiling. I see that the third son of the general's mansion has great ambition. He'll surely achieve great things in time. Your Majesty, why not use this chance? To grant him a marriage? Xiao Yao and Yufia were both taken aback, though they kept their expressions calm. Yu Tianhe glanced at Xiao Yao and said, What young Master Changge said makes sense. Then, with a faint smile, he added, Toba Xiao Yao, how about I betroth the fifth princess to you? Toba Yuntian immediately stood, bowing deeply. Xiao Yao, thank his majesty for his grace. Yu Tianhe laughed heartily, clearly pleased. Toba Yuntian added quickly, I thank young Master Changge and your majesty for your grace. Yu Tianhe smiled faintly, thinking to himself, Toba Xiao Yao has great potential. It wouldn't be a bad idea to draw him closer. But then, Xiao Yao spoke clearly, his voice steady. General Toba is loyal and devoted. I am grateful for his majesty's kindness. Toba Yuntian smiled proudly, until Xiao Yao continued. But Toba Xiao Yao must decline. The hall fell silent. Yu Tianhe's laughter stopped, his expression turning cold with amusement. The crowd gasped. What? Toba Yuntian shouted, Xiao. Do you know what you're saying? Xiao Yao bowed respectfully and said, "Your Majesty, the fifth princess is a rare beauty, but Xiao Yao already has someone in his heart. There is no room for anyone else." Yu Tianhe let out a low HMPH, his face unreadable. Yu Lai muttered under his breath, "Doesn't know what's good for him." Yu Ming smirked slightly and whispered to his sister, "Imperial sister, that boy is still thinking about." Before he could finish, Gu Changge raised a hand. "I was reckless. If I had known brother Xiao Yao already had someone in his heart, I wouldn't have suggested this marriage. I only made his majesty unhappy." Yu Tianhe waved his hand dismissively. "Hey, how can you blame young Master Chang for this? You meant well." Gu Changge smiled faintly, his voice calm, yet sharp. "But I'm really curious. What kind of woman could be worthy of the third young Master Toba?" He added with a sly grin. "To even reject the kindness of his majesty, Emperor Yu?" Xiao Yao's brows furrowed, a vein pulsing on his temple as he thought bitterly. "This guy, he's doing it on purpose." Yu Tianhe chuckled in agreement. "Now that young Master Chang mentions it, I'm also quite curious." He then said with a thoughtful tone, "How about this? If the young Master Toba has feelings for someone within the great Yu dynasty, I shall personally help him. I can arrange a marriage for them." He smiled faintly and added, "It just so happens I was a bit reckless earlier. Let this be my apology to the third young Master Toba." Xiao Yao's eyes turned red as he cursed inwardly, "Gu Changge, you bastard." Yu Tianhe laughed lightly. "Fine then, tell me. If she is a girl of great Yu, I will grant the marriage myself. Consider it a reward." The hall went silent. Xiao Yao hesitated, his mind racing. There was no way to avoid it now. Finally, he took a deep breath, bowed slightly, and said clearly, "Your Majesty, the person Xiao Yao likes is none other than Princess Euphia of the current dynasty." The hall froze. Euphia's eyes widened slightly. A bead of sweat slid down her face as she remained silent. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. See you next time.